Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the major inconsistencies in Life is Strange Before the Storm. Now, this is the first part of a two-part video, and I hope you all enjoy it. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, the first inconsistency involves the age of Victoria Chase. I guess you could say she's Max's arch nemesis, but I guess you could say no, that's Jefferson. But you know, she's a bully. You know, she's a bitch. So what I'm going to be talking about is an inconsistency in her date of birth. Now, in Life is Strange, her date of birth is said to be August 14th, 1995. In Life is Strange. But in Before the Storm, her birthday is November 14th, 1995. Now, what this does is cause a problem with her for when she starts Blackwell. Now, in Life is Strange, it's said if you read through this materials and stuff, she started off as a sophomore in 2010 in the fall season. But then she becomes a senior in fall 2013. So around the time Max goes to Blackwell, she is a senior. Now, apparently, Victoria was actually meant to graduate earlier because of when she attended Blackwell, like the starting time. But she ended up becoming part of the extended senior year program, so she got an extra year. So, you know, in a way that kind of resolves the issue, kind of. The big problem with having her born on November 13th rather than August 14th is that Victoria should be a freshman in Before the Storm in May 2010, but she's depicted as a sophomore rather than a freshman, so that's another problem there. But you know, I've seen people go, okay, which one's canon, which one's not, but the evidence supports her being born August 14th, 1995. It's the canon date, and it's also written on her official school papers, which are both signed and approved by Principal Wells and her parents. The November date of birth just appears to be on Victoria's social media, though it can be argued that she lied about her age on social media. So I guess okay, if you want to go with she lied on social media about her date, because you know, like when I was a kid, I used to lie about my dates. You know, if I'm going on a website, I'd be like, okay, are you 15 years or older? And I'd be going, yes, I'm 15 years or older, when I was actually 12. This was just to like look at other game sites, you know, like the R18 games, the MA15 plus games. Back then when you had the websites promoting games and you had all that information on it. So that's one canon inconsistency, and the next one involves Victoria again, just her presence in general. Now the issue here with Victoria's presence is what exactly she's doing at Blackwell Academy. Now, in Life is Strange, or Season 1 or Life is Strange 1, I'm just going to call it Life is Strange and the other one Before the Storm. So, in Life is Strange, Victoria says that the reason she came to Blackwell was because of Mark Jefferson, because, you know, she admires him, his work, she has a crush on him, you know, and she wants to, I don't even know what she wants to do with him. Like, obviously it's sexual, but I don't even want to think about that. Ugh. Now, in Before the Storm, Jefferson hasn't even he's not in the game, and it's not because he's not part of the story. Jefferson has not arrived at Blackwell at this point in time. So this really creates a plot hole for Life is Strange. It's like a continuity error, but you know, Before the Storm made the mistake, because since Life is Strange came first, you know, the continuity errors are the fault of Before the Storm. So it's like, if Before the Storm came first and then Life is Strange, the video would be about how Life is Strange is screwing up the timeline. But since Before the Storm came first, they're the ones making the mistake. So So really, Jefferson should have been in the game, and even if we don't see him, he should have been there at one point. You know what I mean? They should have made a reference to him at least, saying that he's there at Blackwell. Alright, so the next major continuity error would involve sophomores. I'm sorry I'm stuffing this up, by the way, I'm getting tongue-tied. So, at the time of Before the Storm, which is in May 2010, Max, Chloe, and most of the characters you know, that we all know, would be finishing their sophomore year. So, in May 2010, when Before the Storm starts, you'd have Chloe, who's 16, Max, who is 14, Rachel, who is 15 going on 16, Victoria is 14, Warren is 13. So they're all sophomores, right? Now, in Life is Strange, October 2013, that's when Life is Strange Season 1 starts. Chloe is 19, so Max recently turned 18, Victoria is 18, and Warren is 16. And see, Max, Victoria, and Warren are all seniors at Blackwell. Now, the issue with this is that Max and Warren are being considered sophomores in May 2010 of Before the Storm. Now, I guess because Warren's like such a genius, you know, like, I mean, I think he's a genius, so I can understand him, you know, advancing a grade, so no problem with that. But the fact that Max would have had to skip 2 grades at whatever high school she's attending makes no sense. Now, with Warren, his GPA, you can find this out in episode 3 when you're in Principal Wells' office. You can find files on the students, and Warren's GPA score is a 4.0, which means he's a smart and gifted student, you know, a really intelligent one. But Max's GPA is a 2.8. Okay, so with what this means is she is in a low class of students. So like, I'm not too familiar with the GPAs, but I know 4.0 is good, but the 2.8, that would be what? Average, I guess? I know if you have a 1-point GPA, then that's not good, but Max has a 2.8 GPA, so unlike Warren, who has a 4.0 GPA, I just don't see Max, who is skipping 2 years with a GPA of 2.8. To me, that just makes no sense. But then again, I'm not too familiar with GPAs, so, you know, if I'm stuffing this up to someone who knows about GPAs, then I apologize. But I'm pretty sure I know the gist of it. Alright, so moving on to the next major inconsistency involves a Blackwell student photograph. Now, in Before the Storm episode 1, in Chloe's bedroom there is a photograph, and it's got a bunch of people. In the back row you have Warren, Chloe, Hayden, Zachary, Trevor, Logan, and Alyssa. The middle row has Justin, Elliot, Dana, Evan, Stella, and in the front row is Brooke, Juliet, Victoria, Nathan, Taylor, and Rachel. Now, the main problem with this photo is Warren, because in Life is Strange, he makes the conversation with Max, and when he's talking about Chloe, and he asks like who the punk rocker girl is, and Chloe can say like an old friend, you know, and whatnot. So really, there's other dialogues in the game, other conversations you can have with him that gives off the impression that Warren did not know Chloe before Max told him about her. But in the game, in this photograph, it shows that they're classmates. So what is happening here? Okay, this is not good. This is a major inconsistency. Another person that had a problem with remembering Chloe is Justin. When Max encounters Justin on Blackwell campus in the first episode, You remember this is when he's with the other skater kids. You can talk to him, and Justin will say Rachel Amber and her punk friend used to skate with us. And Max can ask about who Rachel's punk friend was. And Justin will reply, and I quote, I can't remember her name, but she was hot. Tats, blue hair, hardcore. She stopped hanging out with us after Rachel disappeared or ran away. In Life is Strange, Justin refers to Chloe very vaguely, as in he remembers her, but really not that much of her. But if you remember in Before the Storm, you can actually have conversations with Justin. The first conversation you can have with him is in episode 1, when David drops Chloe off at Blackwell. You can walk around the front of the campus, and you can talk to people like Victoria, Principal Wells, and Skip, that guy. Yeah, Skip, the security guard, I believe that was his name. And then there were those two other characters playing the board game. You remember them? That was really one of my favorite parts of Before the Storm. I really did enjoy the board game. Mikey and I forget the girl's name. What was it? Steph, that's it. Her name was Steph. It was Mikey and Steph that you could play the board game with. Another person who seems to not remember Chloe is the character Stella. If you remember, it's in episode 4 when Max and Warren has taken the photo of him and Max, and Chloe goes into the Vortex Club party. When Max is entering, she's stopped by Stella, or you can talk to Stella, and she'll go, wait, some girl just asked about Nathan before you came in. And she tells Max that the girl had blue hair, dressed like a punk, and says, I've seen her putting up those Rachel Amber posters. Now, if you go back to what I said before about the photograph, Chloe and Stella were in the same class photo. And the class photo even features the names of the students. So it's pretty strange that a student would know Chloe Price, or just Chloe, just as regarding her as some girl, to me is just confusing. I mean, yeah, Chloe dyed her hair blue, but she still has the same facial features. Like, even people I bump into the street, I remember them from my classes. Or even if I don't remember them in class, I still remember them from my school. So it seems a bit odd that Stella wouldn't recognize Chloe. So anyways, that's the end of this first part of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off, and I promise the next video will be longer.